Welcome back, YouTubers. So it is no secret, Nissan Rogues, and you can pick any year, 13, 16, 15, shaking, shuddering, 35 to 40, you just name it. Shaking, shuddering, vehicle shutter problem, shutter, and pages and pages of Nissan Rogue transmission issues. It's no secret. So, another shop, Ivan's, told a customer that I've done work for that the axles we put in are bad. And he said, well, Meineke did them. And he's like, well, why are they bad? And he's like, well, maybe they use cheap parts. Maybe you banged them in wrong. He doesn't know. Okay, great. I already know his transmission's bad. Ivan doesn't. Maybe he should know. So when we replaced his axle, we replaced them for open boots because in April or something like that, he came in for something and he said, hey, your axle boots are open. You should replace your axles. And he declined that. And then 2 months later or 3 months later, he came in for some other work and was like, hey, you want to do these axles? And he agreed to it. And then after I road tested the car again, I'm like, man, this thing's shuddering. We put brand new axles in and it's shuddering. So chances are it's not the axles, right? Stay with me. I advised him to go to a transmission shop. He says he goes to the transmission shop. They don't tell him nothing and charge him $300 for whatever the fuck they did. And I said, well, what did they do? What did they say? He goes, I don't know. They didn't say anything. I'm like, well, that's stupid. If you went to a trans shop and you said, is my tranny good or bad? Don't you want an answer? So then he said, when home, he checked his trans fluid, it was black. Well, no shit. What the fuck did they do for $300? Obviously nothing. Because if you took the car home, this is your words to me, and you checked your fluid as soon as you got home and it was black, then your tranny's wiped out if they put new fluid in and then by the time you got home it's black, or they never changed the fluid. But I didn't do the job, so I don't know what they did, and maybe that was just for diagnostic. I don't fucking know, and I don't care. Ivan said the left front axle's bad. Okay, so no problem, sir. I'll replace both axles for you, no problem. Brings the car in, we check it out. The axles, boots aren't ripped, nothing's loose, nothing's out of the way. Transmission shuddering, or driveline shudder, I'm gonna call you that. And you can feel it in the front of the car, not in the back of the car, or the middle of the car. Actually, I should have checked the center drive shaft, but I don't even give a shit at this point. Ivan said the left front axle primarily is bad. No problem, we look in his history, we check the dates, labor warranty is expired. I'll extend the parts warranty to him even though he's an Uber and Lyft driver, which we do not warranty anything for Uber Lyft drivers, period. So I've extended him courtesy prior for issues with warped rotors, and then I extended him courtesy again with product issues, but the product issues were from him being an Uber driver with a transmission that has known issues. So tech swaps a job, pulls the axles, black fluid's coming out of the trans, we grab our phones, we videotape it, his car, we show images of it, black fluid in a clear bottle, save it for the customer, put the car together, drives it, still shudders. He says it's a little better, but it shudders. Well, the shuddering transmission is only going to keep beating up the axles. That's it. So if your tranny shudders or shakes and bangs, clunk, 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 it only is going to ruin your axle shafts. The axles have no other choice to follow what the suspension, tires, wheels, rims, wheel bearings, torque of the transmission. So the axles are taking the beating of the transmission issue. So he comes in, he says, hey, blah, 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 blah. How is it? I said, you still have a problem, as I advised you prior when I changed the axles when the boots were open, that you have a tranny problem. Give him the bottle of fluid. He says, Precision, didn't say anything was good or bad about the transmission, that they don't rebuild them. Okay, well, what did they do to them to fix them? He says, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not a trans guy. So I said, I have a video of us pulling the axles out. Here's your fluid in the bottle, in the same bottle that I did the video, in case they say, how do we know this is your fluid? I know it's your fluid. Go back to the transmission shop and find out what's wrong. So then he leaves and comes back and he's arguing with Rachel on, he talked to a bunch of people and he shouldn't have had to pay for the labor. Well, who the fuck are they? This is my business. Warranty on parts is 90 days. You're an Uber and Lyft driver, which we don't warranty shit for you guys because you abuse your cars. That's just the way it is. I extended you the parts warranty because I felt that was fair for you and I. The labor warranty is far expired. You had a pre-existing condition that you have a bad transmission anyway, so I'm entitled to get paid for my labor. Again, I didn't try and sell you this. Another shop told you that you should do this at the expense of $500 in labor, and that's a hard lesson learned. I would have told you, go get your transmission fixed first. Period. Black transmission fluid means bad transmission. I don't care how you slice it. So, but it's funny how other places will say, oh, well, you shouldn't have to pay for that. Well, open your own shop and you replace parts for free because people beat the shit out of their cars or don't take your recommendations, or you have meatheads at other shops that think they know it all and just made you burn $500 for no reason. I didn't try and sell you anything. All I was trying to do was help you. And in the past, I've also warranted warped rotors because he abuses his car. He came in for an exhaust shield. I've taken that all for free and provided no charge invoice. So I've been nothing but more than fair to this guy. But when you have other douchebags in your ear, tweet, it's getting you nowhere, dude. Stick to one mechanic and stay at that, because you'll be advised better that way. Yeah, so every fucking day it's some bullshit. Well, I shouldn't have to pay. Well, when I buy a fucking brand new refrigerator with a 1-year warranty and I don't buy an extended warranty, and this has happened to me many times with dishwashers, garbage disposal, you name it, you know what they say? Oh, do you have an extended warranty? No, I don't. Oh, there's nothing we can do. Well, it's only fucking a year and 2 months old. Sorry, sir. Nothing we can do. Well, that goes right in the fucking trash, and then I go buy another one. So you're talking about spending a few $100s here, and then you want me to work for fucking free. Well, the whole world doesn't do that. And that's that. It's 90 days on parts, 1 year on materials, and that's if something else doesn't cause the problem. And something else causing problem is abuse because you're an Uber and Lyft driver, and you have a transmission that's a complete pile of shit just from design. Some are good, some are bad. But the tranny shop should have told you need a transmission. Ivan should have said to you also, let's check your trans fluid and see what color it is. Ooh, boy, you have black transmission fluid, like the ground. That's not good, sir. But the axles, the transmission doesn't wear the axles out. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. The stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. The transmission doesn't wear the axles out. It doesn't cause that. Aren't they connected to the transmission? How many U-joints have worn out in a drive shaft or clicking axles? Why? Because they fail and the transmission's putting torque and load on them, and they have no choice other than to fail. Like, the mentality of some people and the words they use to try and sell jobs is just fucking crazy. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I say. Keep it simple for everybody. Your axles are bad. Your transmissions are bad. Why? We don't really need to know why. Unless it's like, hey, I just put new pads and rotors on and my brake pads and rotors wore out in a week. Well, now we need to know why. Is it the driver? Is it a missed problem? Is it an over-adjusted master cylinder? That's some of the reasons why. Not why did my muffler fail 3 years later or 5 years later? You know? That kind of stuff. Why did my axles go bad in 6 months? Dude, your transmission's bad.